Hello and welcome to News Across Nigeria today. I'm Olumide Macaulay. Coming up on the program. In northern Nigeria, Kano governor wades into the crisis, rocking the State House of Assembly. In the South, parents in Edo State appeal to the government to address infrastructural problems in public schools. And communities in Delta State protest against alleged inhumane treatment by oil companies. Thank you so much for joining us. After 3 weeks in police custody, the lawmaker representing Kogi West, Senator Dino Melaye, has finally been granted bail by the Lokoja High Court in Kogi State. Delivering his ruling on Senator Melaye's bail application today, Justice Nasir Ajana described the medical report of the senator as a merit factor to grant him bail. The judge granted him bail in the sum of 10 million naira with a surety whose passport will be domiciled with the court. The senator is facing trial for allegedly arming deadly criminal gangs and convening a political rally that ended in the death of at least one person. The police had earlier arrested suspects who confirmed that Senator Dino Melaye had provided arms and financial support to them. The lawmaker, however, pleaded not guilty to the charges, insisting that his ordeal is largely because of his outspoken stance against the alleged misrule of Governor Yahaya Bello. Now to Kano State and the face-off in the Kano State House of Assembly. It may have been resolved now after Governor Abdullahi Ganduje waded into the crisis. A statement from the State Commissioner of Information, Mr. Mohammed Garba, says the governor has reconciled the two warring factions in the House. According to him, the reconciliation meeting held late yesterday at the government house between representatives of the feuding factions and the governor. Following that intervention, the statement reads that the Assembly will reopen on Thursday to further consolidate the resolutions reached at the meeting. The governor is said to have intervened in the crisis in the interest of peace and democratic development. Since Monday, a faction in the Kano State House of Assembly has been attempting to remove the Speaker, Abdullahi Atta. Now, religious scholars in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, in the north-central part of the country, are urging members of the Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, who've been on strike for almost 1 week across the nation, to get back to work in the interest of their patients. Meanwhile, members of the Nigerian Medical Association in Ondo State have described the demands of JOHESU as frivolous and absurd. The strike was expanded to include local and state health bodies from the 10th of the month over several unmet demands, chief of which is the upward review of their salary scale.
This strike is a fight to finish until the federal government is ready and they are serious to meet all our demands.
That's the stance of the Joint Health Sector Unions nationwide. Since the strike took off, it has bitten hard on patients and would-be patients because of the absence of non-physicians who are supposed to work with the doctors. The doctors, on the other hand, feel the health workers are demanding more than their due.
The JAMB cutoff point marked for medicine and surgery is always the highest in this country and most countries of the world. This alone speaks volume that medical doctors are not at par with other health workers. Also, according to best global practices, there is nowhere in the world where medical doctors' pay is at par with other allied health professionals.
But while the doctors seem confrontational, religious leaders in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, are appealing to the collective conscience of JOHESU.
Immediately you go on strike and you're in a sensitive appointment like that, you know you are abandoning your role as somebody who is instrument of God. Secondly, you do not work, you want to be paid. You have some accountability, moral ethos requires you to search your mind. Would it be right for you to get paid?
JOHESU should be considerate of the masses, of the poor, and let humanity side in them. Okay, and the charity dimension of the work they have taken, allow them to tamper justice with mercy. They have a good cause, but the good cause can be a bad cause if they are not considerate of the poor.
Players in the health sector and members of the public are hoping for a quick resolution to the face-off, which, for those who depend on their services, has become a matter of life and death.
Now let's bring you word of what the victims of herdsmen attacks in Benue State are saying lately. They're asking the federal government to tackle the huge humanitarian crisis in the 8 camps opened for the internally displaced people. A nursing mother in Abagana IDP camp who spoke on behalf of the others says many of them sleep outside in the rainfall because of the lack of access to medical and academic support programs for their children, as well as one of the issues. She made the appeal to the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, during his visit to Benue State. The first step was taken by the Vice President, was a directive given to NEMA to take care of the problem. And in education in Edo State, parents of students in public primary and secondary schools have appealed to the state government to urgently address the protracted infrastructure decay in those institutions. The parents, who spoke to Channels Television in Benin City, the state capital, lamented the poor learning environment which has been negatively impacting those schools. And reacting to the appeal, the Edo State government says it will not deviate from its commitment to the total transformation of the education sector in the state.
The Red Roof Revolution, as it was then called, was the term the immediate past administration in Edo State used to describe its major accomplishment in the education sector. The present administration of Governor Godwin Obaseki has spent almost 2 years in office. The school structures built during the revolution can still be sighted in some primary and secondary schools that were lucky to have benefited. However, some other schools that did not benefit from the gesture are now in a terrible state. This parent of a student in one of the schools is appealing to the government to urgently do something.
The window, no window, nothing. If there is window there, and the student, they will not get chance to sneak out, and they will never see chance to jump out of the window to do anyhow.
Elder Michael Igwinoba lives opposite Army Day Secondary School, Benin City. He narrates his experiences living around the school.
No fence, no security, nobody care for the way the classroom are all, the building they are all, scattered. So when we look at it like this, and the thing become a problem to the community, the hoodlocks, the robbery and everything here goes on every day. Nobody passed through here from 7:30.
Despite the current challenges of fixing these infrastructural deficits, among other needs of these schools, the government on its part is insisting on its unwavering commitment to the total transformation of the sector.
His Excellency is doing a lot at renovating the educational sector. Is renovating the Benin Technical College and then educating about, right now, the last one that was being done, about 300 teachers were being trained with this ICT at the Edo Best program that just finished.
Recall that the Edo State government in November 2017 presented a 146 billion naira 2018 appropriation estimate, setting aside 6.3 billion naira for the education sector. The hope of these students and their teachers is that part of that amount goes to addressing the needs of these schools.
We'll also bring you news of schools in Cross River State and what the state government there is doing to improve that sector. Please stay with us.